So, today we're learning values. Do I know them? No. Have I done them before? Maybe once. Am I going to try to learn this week? Yes. So, I have it broken down into 3 basic levels. So, level 1 is going to be like the ball. 2 is going to be like a fruit or veggie. And 3 is going to be human portrait. So, I don't know if I spelled that right. We're gonna see. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna start with. So, I guess we'll get started with the ball. I do have some. Let's do that. I do have some notes, so let me see if I can pull those up real quick. Okay. So, for the ball, I'm going to do 5 values. Because I think that's going to be the easiest way to represent a ball. So first I'm going to establish that the light is coming from over here. So, yeah. So the light's going to be like shining over here, and then the darkest part, which would be the shadow, would be like over there. So yeah, we're going to start with this and see what we can get done. Okay. So I think that covers the ball portion. So I have it broken down into steps too from a YouTube video I watched from Marco Brucki. I hope I'm saying that right. So the 5 steps are basically your average light, average shadow, your halftones, your reflected light, and ambient inclusion. I'm gonna go more into that. I'm gonna do another ball, and I'm gonna get more into those steps. I'm gonna rewatch the video, but this is just kind of very first attempt, which I don't think is terrible, but I'm gonna see if once I apply these steps, if it will improve or not. So yeah, let's try that again. So, now that I have more detailed notes on each one of the steps, we're going to follow the steps and see if the ball is better. So the light source will be coming from the same area. So we're just gonna move that over here and do that again. Also, I think I'm gonna make the background just a little darker, just so we can see what's going on just a little better. Okay, so let's get this out right. We're gonna do average lights first. So we're gonna pick out, we're gonna be picking out the light shapes. So let's go to like there, I think should be good. And actually, I think I have a spot. We could use like these 6 right here. So we will start with that one. Okay. So if the light's coming from, like I said, this direction. Let's make that darker for just a minute. Actually, we can make it yellow. That way we can see it. Okay. So the sun or the light. Oof. Right here. So like that. Alright. Now we can make our ball. Which I think I might just use the circle tool for this one. We might might move our circle a little down from the light. There we go. And I can erase the little yellow spot. Okay. Let's get this brush back out. So picking out the lightest shapes. So obviously that's going to be, see, the light is ending like right here. Right there. So it'll be pretty much almost half this ball for sure. I don't know why I did that layer. That was not necessary. Okay. So then the average shadow, which would be picking out the shapes in shadow. So I'm also not going to be using the lightest color or the darkest color because that's going to come in later. So we could do that. I think that's pretty fair. This spot is obviously going to be in shadow because there's no light over here at all. Also, I don't have a reference for this part. I'm basically just trying to do it out of memory of, well, not out of memory, but like where the light and stuff would not be. So I don't really have a reference. That'd probably be smart, and I'll definitely be having a reference for level 2. So I think that's our very basic average shadow. So now step 3 is picking out the halftones, which is just applying more depth in the light family, from what I understood from the video. So it's just where you're going to see the detail in the light. So you're not going to be doing anything in the dark yet. You're just basically rendering out the light part. So obviously our lightest color is going to be right here where the sun's like immediately. That I don't know if there would be a spot like right here. Alright. And then reflective light, which is adding light spots in shadow where this part would be reflecting onto the shadow. So let me highlight that part. That was so bad. Alright, so yeah, on the notes, it's adding a little shadow where the light will bounce off of the light spots into the shadow. So we can pick that color, which is just a little lighter than our shadow. I would say probably like right here is where we would see that reflective light, and on the edge of this. And then ambient occlusion, adding the darkest tones where there's no light. It's also like adding detail to the shadow. So this is where we'll finally go in with our darkest color and pick out the absolute dark spots. of our object, which would obviously be like right here because there'd be no light coming in right here. Also go for our little shadow spot. This would be in like absolute shadow over here, and then we would work towards the light over here. I'm going to just softly blend that. I think I'm going to call that right there. Does it look hugely different from the first ball? Not really, just a little bit. But I do definitely think I definitely understand the steps better now and what each step is for, which will hopefully help me in the level 2 and the level 3. So now we've got to find our reference. Alright, so I think I'm going to do the pomegranate first. If we do the strawberry, then we'll do the strawberry. If not, that's okay. But I think this one's definitely going to be maybe a little easier to capture. So I'm going to pull up my notes that I'm going to have next to me on my phone. And we're just going to go over again. So we're going to pick out the shapes in light, which look to be like right, like this like triangle-ish shape, like rounded kind of triangle. And now I'm going to pick out the shapes in shadow. Now we're going to do the halftones, so the tones within the light, which I'm going to do as that. Alright, and then I think that's pretty good on the halftones. Well, actually, I kind of want to do like, you see like this part right here, this is lighter inside. So I think I'm going to bring back out that white. That's not terrible. I definitely feel like we've got this. Whoops. I'm trying to put in like the reflective lights where the lights would kind of be bouncing. And now I'm just going to add the darkest shadow. I think that's what I'm going to do for the pomegranate. We're going to see if we can like speed run the strawberry. I don't think it's an exact copy one for one, but I definitely think you can tell it's a strawberry. And the pomegranate, now that I'm looking at it without the reference, I do think you can tell it's a pomegranate, or maybe I'm just delusional. Both are possible. But yeah, so level 2 is pretty much done. And now I just gotta find a portrait and see if I can take the steps and put them on human portrait. So yeah, let me find a reference. So, I found my reference. It's highly ambitious, but we're gonna go for it. Which is part of it being the level 3, I guess, right? So, yeah, we're going to lay out all of the areas in light, which is the first step. So, I'm going to speed run that, and I'll come back when we start laying out the darks. Right, so now I'm to step 2, which is going to be laying out all the shadow bits. I don't feel too awful on it yet, but I'm definitely curious to see how correct I can make this. So yeah, let's lay out all the shadow bits. Okay, so I ended up doing a trace over 2 just because I didn't feel like it was matching the proportions it needed to. So I'm going to keep going with the layout I have now, and we're going to keep going. Step 3, let me pull up my notes because I want to make sure I got, is the half tones. So applying all the tones within the light where you're going to see the most detail. So we're going to move on to step 3 now. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to step 4, where I'm basically going to be adding all of the little reflective bits to more detailed the shadow side. And so yeah, we're going to see how that goes. Alright, so is this perfect? No. But this is what I was able to do within the hour I allotted myself to do this. So yeah, we just hit the hour mark. So if I had more time, I'm pretty sure I could make it look better. But again, I'm not too disappointed in this. And I definitely think with steps that I learned, I definitely understand values better now. And yeah, so now I'm gonna roll out all 3 and show what the ending product is.